Yeah, so take your time.
Let's go, guys! Oh my goodness!
Okay, video number 4, section 2. We're talking about being a youth pastor. At this point, you've heard me say, you're a youth pastor. And you might be wondering, that's great, but what do I actually do? I want to highlight on page 13, the job of a youth pastor at FCC is to help students take their next right step with Jesus through authentic relationships. That's a mouthful. What do I mean by this? When we run a marathon, we run it one step at a time, right? No one runs 26.2 miles in just one step. It takes a lot of steps to run that race. Now, if you're me, you don't run the marathon at all because you hate running. But if you're a marathon runner, you run 26.2 miles one step at a time. That is a lot like what faith is like. When we are talking about relationship with Jesus, each and every one of us are running this marathon of our life, one step at a time. And what's happened so often is we see the finish line, we see eternity with Christ, we see that paradise that awaits us. We want that, but there's a lot of steps we have to take between now and then. And so as leaders, what we want to do is help our students see the finish line, understand what it means to just take the next step, right? Don't worry about 10 steps down the road, just worry about taking the next step. And everyone has a next right step. For someone who's not a Christian, maybe the next right step is just opening the Bible to explore. For someone who just met Jesus, maybe the next right step is to get baptized. For someone who's questioning theology, maybe the next right step is to jump into something about apologetics or whatever, right? Everyone has a next right step. And we leverage our authentic, there's that value coming back again, relationship with students to help them take the next right step. We have to know each student personally. There's another value coming back. We have to know them personally in order to help them take the next right step. In order for us to know where a student is at on their journey and what the next right step is, we have to know them. So what we do is we help students take the next right step in Jesus through authentic relationships. You can read that on pages 13 and 14. But, so that's a big abstract concept. What does it mean, hands-on, to actually foster this authentic relationship that allows us to be able to help them take the next right step? First and foremost, be you, right? I can't say this enough. We can't stress this enough. What won't draw students to you is if you are hip or cool or have it all together or with the times. What will draw students to you is that you are authentic. So if you're a nerd, be a nerd, because we have a lot of nerdy students who would love to hang out with you. If you love sports, jump into sports, because we have a lot of students who are athletic and would love to play sports with you. If you're really into theology, be really into theology, because there's a lot of students who are asking the bigger questions. Just be who you are. God didn't call some fake version of you to invest in students. God called you the way he made you to invest in students here at FCC. So just be you. You're not going to gain points with students by trying to be someone that you're not. Just keep it real. Again, be you. Now, what else? Sorry, I got lost in my train of thought. I got on a soapbox there. What you also need to know is that relationships take time, right? So as you're getting involved in relationships with students, the number one thing, the currency of relationships, they say, is time. And so it's going to take time. It's going to take investment. You're going to invest, and you may not see any return on your investment for a while. It takes time. Sometimes it takes, depending on the student, it could take a couple days to earn their trust. It could take a couple weeks, months, or even years, depending on that student's background, right? So just know that relationships take time, but it's all about relationships. And on page 16, we want to be leaders who count the cost. Jesus in Luke 14 has strict warnings to us about what it means to count the cost to carry our cross. And so student ministry, let me just call this out right now before you go any further, is that student ministry is going to cost you. It is going to cost you. It is not this walk in the park. It is a roller coaster of a journey. Like Jesus with his disciples, we don't recognize half-hearted commitments, right? We want our leaders to be all in or all out. Either we're up for the cost or we're not up for the cost, right? We're not going to do this halfway garbage. So have you considered what student ministry is going to cost you in time, right? Relationships are not just a one-year commitment. They're not just Wednesdays from 6:30 to 8:15. It's a year-round commitment for the long haul. While there are built-in seasons of rest, right? We try to give you leaders a summer off, and we try to make sure we take winter break off. Relationships with students are not just this 1 hour per week type of thing. Relationships currency is time. So it's going to cost you time. Are you up for that? Next, it's going to cost you money. While student ministry, we definitely have budget available to help. There's going to be times where student ministry is going to cost you out of your pocket, right? We try to keep all of our events free, if not super cheap for leaders, because we value you and the investment that you make. But if you want to take a student out to grab a coffee or something to eat, we don't have a budget to accommodate all of that. And so sometimes it may cost you money. But again, we're investing in people, and that is money well spent. So if money is an issue and you need budget help, by all means, talk to us. We have budget to help support that. But just know sometimes it's going to cost you $4.99 to get the Wendy's 4 for $4 to hang out with your student and enjoy them. And it's going to cost you an emotional impact. There's going to be nights and days where groups are difficult. There's going to be nights where a student emotionally dumps their life story on you, where you hear of students wrestling with mental health, depression, abuse, and suicide. People are messy. And ministry to broken people means there's going to be a lot of mess. And so emotionally, this may cost you. That's why we do this as a team, so we can support each other, we can love each other, we can have each other's backs, we can pray for each other. You are not an individual unit that's just investing in students. You are part of a team, and we have your back. We've got you. But just know that if you try to go this alone, if you try to lone wolf the student ministry thing, the emotional toll that sometimes it takes, well, can cost you. And so, but we believe that it's all worth something. It costs us something, but it's worth something. Jesus in Luke 12 talks about treasure in heaven, and how when we invest our treasure here, we gain treasure in heaven. And that's so much more important. That's the eternal treasure we're shooting for. So as we invest our time and our money and our emotional impact on this, we believe that investing in students is worth it regardless of cost. We believe that treasure in heaven is more important than treasure on earth. And we believe that the cost will be great, but the reward is greater, because our God is greater than anything that this world has to offer.